The PressBox High School Lacrosse Show is sponsored by Jerry's Tire, located in Baltimore City, just steps away from Little Italy and historic Jonestown. Jerry's not only sells all the major brands like Bridgestone, Michelin, and Continental, but is your go-to shop for everything from oil changes to factory schedule maintenance. All repairs are backed by a nationwide warranty. The team over at Jerry's has been serving the Baltimore area for over 62 years and are eager to earn your business. Give them a call at 410-685-4330 or visit them online at jerrystires.com to shop for tires and schedule an appointment. That's GERRYS tires.com. Now, here's Booker Corrigan.
Hey now, it is Monday, and do we have a matchup for you high school lacrosse fanatics? Gilman at McDonogh tomorrow at 4:30. It's on WBAL MeTV. It's on MIAA Bob Schreiber and I will be there. The winner is in the playoffs. The loser will not participate. We're coming to you live from the Live Casino Hotel Studio. I'm Booker Corrigan. I got Ty Xanders joining the show momentarily. We're going to talk some great high school lacrosse because he follows it extensively, as do I. I had the pleasure of watching the boys Latin Gilman game on Saturday, and Gilman might be one of the most talented teams I've seen that's been in a position to have to win a road game to make the MIAA playoffs. They have stars up and down the field. Noah Klein in the cage, absolute stud. Andy Andrews, senior midfielder, can create his own offense, which in the sport of lacrosse, that is a valuable commodity, as can Logan Paff and William Godine. Sam King is another guy who can do it. Gilman has a roster that it almost matches up perfectly with McDonough's. I have no idea who is going to win this game. Face-off wise, Gable Braun's going to be going against Nick Tusing in that game. Make sure that you find a way to either attend it, it's at McDonogh, or just simply go on WBAL MeTV or check out MIAAlacrosse.com. A lot of people are hugely appreciative of the game being on WBAL MeTV because they can watch it on their big screen. If you have Comcast or Verizon cable, it's not yet available on DirecTV. Apologies there. Now, let's just think for a second of how much pressure is on these high school goaltenders. And one of these two teams is going to win and go into the playoffs. One of these two teams is going to lose. Folks, let's be prepared to support like heck the team that loses, because the team that loses is a phenomenal team, and they're going to be hurting as much as anyone else. So let's be in a position to say, you know what? Things happen the way they do. The things happen for a reason. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and let's go focus on being the best version of ourselves. Are we ready for Ty? We are. Let's bring in my main man, Ty Xanders. Ty, you were there with me, shivering in the cold, holding rosters and using one microphone to call games on CUDA.com. What do you think of the way the MIAA season has evolved to this point?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. We've both come a long way. There's no doubt about that. But, no, I mean, it's I think the last couple seasons have been pretty exciting, in the MIAA. And from my perspective and from many others, Capitol Hall is, I wouldn't say running away with it, but they are far and away the best team. But I think from then on, you can make the argument that everybody is almost on equal footing. There's so many quality wins, and some of these results have, been very surprising. I think was very impressed, watching that game on Saturday, seeing the fight that BL showed just a few days after losing to Spalding. Witnessing Loyola's win over St. Paul's with a tremendous first half from Kevin Ellington in goal to beat the Crusaders 6-5 on Alumni Weekend, with myself, of course, being an alum of St. Paul's.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a really fun season. I think that we're really just getting started. I'm really excited to see, what's going to happen in the playoffs and on tomorrow and Rivalry Day. Really exciting, next 10 days or so in the best league in the country.
Ty Xanders from Inside Lacrosse joining us here on the PressBox High School Lacrosse Show from the Live Casino Hotel Studio. Ty, you mentioned how exciting these playoffs are going to be. We have a great game tomorrow, St. Paul's BL. It's always a Hall of Fame matchup and two teams that you absolutely love seeing play. But on top of that, You have the McDonogh-Gilman game, who are arch rivals, and one of them will advance to the postseason, and the other will not. When was the last time you remember that? And I'm not trying to stump the expert. I can't really remember that happening in the MIAA. I know in 2006 I was coaching McDonogh, and we played Mount St. Joe in the last game of the regular season, and the winner went in and the loser went out. We happened to take them down fairly strongly, but this scenario doesn't unfold. And of McDonogh and Gilman, who do you think is more prepared to head into the playoffs?
I think McDonogh is. And I agree that this is very rare. I think we've definitely seen some situations where a team has been eliminated from the playoffs in the final day or the second to last game of the regular season. But to be fighting for a playoff spot between bitter rivals, and I've got to say I think that Gilman-McDonogh, I grew up around the rivalry, is outstanding in football. Lacrosse, I think it's taken a back seat in many ways to BL St. Paul's and Loyola Calvert Hall. But I think that this is some of the most, maybe the biggest this game has been, in years. I mean, I look at it was 2005 that there was a massive matchup between the two, and Gilman knocked off undefeated McDonogh. I want to say, am I correct there?
You are 100% correct there. I remember that game.
But this is huge, and I think that Gilman really has to rebound from a tough outing the other day. I don't want to say they gave away that game, that's discrediting BL, but they did some things that were a little bit head-scratching. I think they'll have to prepare. Also for what could be, Brooks Matthews, final game as head coach at Gilman. But, these are two very well-coached teams, a lot of talent, a little more senior-heavy on Gilman's side. I think that this was a year that I looked at Gilman to maybe be the year for the Greyhounds after a couple tough seasons. So I do think that McDonogh is more well prepared to win the game, and of course they have that tremendous home field advantage they've always had. But there's so much riding on this matchup. I can't wait to see what happens. Very, very intrigued to see, what happens in that game.
And you alluded to the fact that Coach Brooks Matthews, the head coach at Gilman, has been there forever, doing a great job. And I certainly respect the heck out of everything Brooks has been able to accomplish while he was there. I coached against him. I consider him a friend. I want to just give myself one pat on the back because it's something I pride myself in. Ty, you told me that news, and you said I can't say anything to anyone. And did I, in fact, say anything to anyone?
You did not.
I did not. I'm the best
that's
secret
trust
keeper.
right there. I've known you a long time, and
I'm the best secret keeper. I
tried to keep that one under wraps for a few days to try and break that story and wait until Gilman had senior day and respect them and respect Haverford. But I first off, I have nothing but respect for Brooks Matthews and what he's done.
Yep.
I mean, winning 2 championships as an assistant, I think in 1998 and 2000, and then winning championships with Gilman in 2009 and 2011. That 2009 team, that was my senior year at St. Paul's, and that team was just unbelievable. I think it was 5 Under Armour All-Americans, Marcus Holman, Dave Yemela, Harry Priebus, Greg McBride, and Jack Doyle, number 2 recruit that year. Just an epic team, that of course lost the championship the year before. So, Brooks is really, had an outstanding run and it means a lot to the Gilman lacrosse community. And, who better to replace him than John Nostrand. But Brooks has done a fantastic job kind of, laying the groundwork there along with, so many other coaches. Dave Allen's one of them. Owen Daly's done a great job as an assistant. Just so many, great names at Gilman over the years. But, first things first, they want to win that game tomorrow. It's just a huge, huge game. And I don't know if you saw, I'm up in I don't know which game I'm going to yet. I left it out to the Twitter polls. If you're listening to this, hop on my Twitter at Xanders. I'm taking votes. I don't know where I'm going.
Hold on a second. Can people see the results of the poll? They can, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go? Are you gonna follow it, or are you literally you're going to St. Paul's BL? Come on, Ty.
I have not. No.
Ty. Okay. I think
wherever I'm a little nervous. I think Gilman-McDonogh is a game that I'd like to hit. But, I will say, and I don't mean to not plug your game of the week, but, sometimes I like to go to a different game because I know that I'll have a film of your game, right afterwards.
So that's a win for us.
Well, say it again.
That's a win for us because we get the viewership. I mean, we're over 40,000 views per game, which is pretty cool, especially since my guest, Ty Xanders from Inside Lacrosse. Ty and I started out, I remember our first game, Haverford St. Paul's, in the chilly winds of yesteryear. I think it was 2010, 2011?
Was that at Haverford or at St. Paul's?
At St. Paul's. But then we used to go, and we'd go up to Haverford School and do games.
Yeah.
We took it on the road with Matty Cruz, the three of us had some great times. Ty Xanders, my guest from Inside Lacrosse. Now, Ty, one of your other responsibilities is you're part of the committee that works on that Under Armour Senior All-American. The selection process is so challenging. I mean, you're restricted to 44 of the top boys in the country. You could pick 444 and still get an amazing game. Explain to us how challenging it is for you to whittle it down.
It's very difficult, and I have certainly lost some sleep over it in the last couple of weeks. Not that I sleep well as it is, too much Red Bull, but it is tough. And I think this is a year that it is, more challenging than ever, just because this is a class in 2019 that I must say is a little bit down in comparison to past years, and in the class of 2020 ahead of it. But I think that it's very difficult. We look at probably more names than ever this year, and that speaks to depth in certain positions, but just some really difficult decisions, especially in this last wave. We just locked in wave 4 recently, and I started making some calls, to kids, alerting them that they've been selected. So it's very difficult, and I think that in many ways there's more depth than ever before. These last couple of years, I think that everyone's guilty of saying. I think I saw a tweet earlier this morning of every single tournament team and how many Under Armour All-Americans, former Under Armour All-Americans are on each roster. And I do think that's a very important stat. But I think now in the past couple of years, as the game has grown into more areas and has really exploded everywhere, especially not hotbeds, I think that if you look at the top 100 players, I think that's just as important stat because of the level of depth. It is so hard to whittle it down to 44, in this year more than ever. But it's a process that, I take pride in, getting to as many games as possible. I think I've been to 40 or so this year and getting as much film as I possibly can, picking up the phone and calling college coaches. I love being a part of it, and it's something that, I try and work tirelessly to get the best roster possible. And there's no correct answer. But, it's a blast, and I can't wait for the game, and it's, certainly a really fun event that, I'd cherish to be a part of.
We got you on the broadcast last year, if I'm not mistaken, on the sideline at Hopkins. You and I, again, two guys who, quite honestly, Kyle, we sat in the bleachers at St. Paul's basketball games just to get our flow together and some hand signals together. And we would meet, and St. Paul's didn't mind us coming. We'd sit next to parents, and they'd help us with pronunciations. That's where, Ty, that's where you and I kind of grew into whatever it was that we were doing. The other thing I want to say is you mentioned this 2019 class and the concentration of depth at the the top 100 guys. Next year, you're going to need more Red Bull. Sipping on Red Bull got you feeling like a champion. The game that never sleeps going to slip you an Ambien. I mean, to quote Jay-Z, dude, 2020, you need to mutate yourself, I think. I mean, you need a clone.
Yeah, I would like to.
A mini-me.
We'll see if Inside Lacrosse can clone me or pick up another salary. But no, I think this class of 2020 is off the charts. Some ridiculous attack. I mean, I was kind of making a mock roster just because I had nothing better else to do, apparently. Even before setting the 2019 roster, I'm just, doing it for fun. And I think you get to like the 30th spot in my rankings, and you're already full in attack or something like that. So it's maybe even before that. I usually have between 20 and 35 stars in each class. I think that number will go up, in August, September, when I'm doing the next edition of the rankings. But, yeah, that'll be tough, man. That'll be very, very tough. And I think that game, it could set a scoring record.
Yeah,
so,
I think,
that's
right. I wonder if Matt Rambo's 8 goals in one game record could fall. Ty, the other thing we got to talk about is, we do that FCA MIAA game of the week, and the Valley Inn is one of the big sponsors. When was the last time you were at the Valley Inn, and how much fun did you have at the Valley Inn?
I was there on Friday, and I ran into this absolute legend.
Nice.
Named Booker Corrigan, and just a pleasure to share a drink.
You shared some laughs
with my dear friends. I was celebrating my. This is funny. I think my 10-year reunion. With some good friends that flew in from Alabama. And
Roll
some
Tide.
local buddies, and then of course we had Bob Schreiber there a couple hours earlier celebrating his 50th reunion from Boys Latin. So just a couple of years off, but Valley Inn is certainly a wide range of agents. I had a blast, on Friday evening, talking with you and some old friends and some new friends. I think it was some Cabot Hall parents that stopped by on their way back from playing Spalding. So it was nice. They always, what I love about Baltimore, among many other things, is that, I've done this a couple different occasions. I went to Valley Inn recently with my father after going to the Gilman-Loyola game, but finishing a game and getting up to the bar, and you hear everyone talking about that day's results in the MIAA. So it's a pretty special lacrosse community we have in Baltimore, and fun to go to a place like Valley Inn and talk about it.
And having grown up in Philadelphia, I can tell you that never happens in anywhere near Radnor High School. You don't go someplace to talk about the game other than maybe the Great American Pub in Wayne. But even then, 2% of the people are like, wait, what do you mean lacrosse? What do you? So, Ty, thanks for the time. Love having you on. It brings back so many fun memories. We did some things together that, it worked out well. And then on Friday night, we did some other things.
Yes, we did. And I've got to, I think the other aspect, before I go, I got to give a big shout out to Kyle Ottenheimer. I think, I don't know how much we've said, but, Kyle and I were inseparable when we were in lower and middle school at Park School, just watching a million games, playing football and basketball and baseball in the backyard. So it's funny to come full circle and have us both work in sports, and, pretty special to be on with him.
You're my guy.
Love it.
Love you, Kyle. Love you, buddy. Thanks so much, guys.
See you, Ty. Thanks so much. And is it legal for me now, Kyle, to take a little cheap shot at Ty?
Yeah,
he helped you with your picks. He helped you with your picks, and you only have 3 teams in the tournament, buddy. I love Ty. I can't believe I got 6. Although it's so fun. We got a great bet for the Baltimore 10-miler. The loser of the bet has to run the Baltimore 10-miler between Glenn, Kyle, and I. So that'll be interesting to see how it evolves. But it's certainly worthwhile. And, of course, Ty talked about that Under Armour All-American, the senior game. The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryout is the best showcase, the top showcase that you can be a part of in the entire country. College coaches line the sideline from goal line to goal line. They do the tryout. Every kid plays in 4 to 6 games, and then they have what's called the callback game. And if you ever want to see a high concentration of unbelievable talent from that region and a plethora of college coaches lining a sideline for one game, see that callback game. The Baltimore tryouts this year will be happening in late May. Make sure you go to UnderArmourLacrosse.com. If you're in D.C., they're down there in early June, and anywhere else across the country, just go to UnderArmourLacrosse.com and just register. Get to be a part of it. And if you make that callback game, whether you make the team or not, you should reflect back and say that callback game is as high a level of lacrosse as you will find. Now, last reminder, Kyle, before we sign it off.
Yep.
Gilman-McDonogh. And I know for you, you're going to base this on centuries of lacrosse watching, of hours and hours of watching.
I've poured through the film.
Who are you picking?
Look, in my lifetime, when I was in high school, I think the pick would have been Gilman. They're the perennial power, so I'll go with the Greyhounds.
Okay, and that's fair enough because Ty kind of picked McDonogh. So that's fair enough. I think it's a good time, good show. That is the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. You can get to the Valley Inn and watch it. You can watch it on MIAAlacrosse.com, or you can certainly go to WBAL Me TV and watch it on regular TV. We have the playoffs coming up next week, the semifinals. We'll do the quarterfinals this Friday. Then we'll have, and I have my friend from Sarasota, Florida, coming in for that. That's going to be awesome.
Always fun.
And then on Tuesday, we have the semifinals on the 14th. And then on the 17th on WBAL Channel 11, it will be the championship game. Will Calvert Hall be in it? There's a high percentage chance that they will, but they did not get a bye to the championship game. They will have to win a semifinal game. We'll have those games on the 14th, so get ready for that next week. Thank you so much to our guest, Ty Xanders, for so much knowledge. And what I really want to thank him for is the hours and days and months that he pours into high school lacrosse to do the best he possibly can at his job of helping select that Under Armour team. He does an amazing job helping that committee and steering it towards unbelievable greatness. That Under Armour game will take place in the end of June. It'll be on ESPNU. If you need to see me on Saturday at 5 o'clock, I will be at University of Pennsylvania doing the Penn Army NCAA Round 1 playoff game. The winner of that game plays the winner of Georgetown-Yale. So a Brandow will definitely be in Round 2, which is awesome. Thank you so much to Kyle Ottenheimer for running the board.
For sure.
And I'm Booker Corrigan reminding you, you only get one shot at today.